I always like to do these Q&As while sitting on the floor for some reason. Welcome to another Q&A. I put out an Instagram and sent out an email to my subscribers a couple of days ago, and I got tons of questions, so thank you so much if you submitted one. I got so many questions I wanted to answer that I'm actually gonna do this video in 2 parts, so we'll start with the first round of questions now. Sweet Camileo asked, hey Jess, how did you manage to make friends in London? I don't think it's very easy to make friends in London, but I'm lucky enough that as soon as I moved over here, I had like a built-in group of friends because of my husband's friends that live here. But I also made a lot of friends through blogging and vlogging. There's like a really big blogging community here in London that everyone's really nice. And then I've met some people through YouTube now as well. And also just through work, I've made friends that way too. The Mad Moon asked, the Santander bike rental gets a little confusing. So what's the rate for after 30 minutes? Okay, so yes, I completely agree. This definitely does get confusing. So think of it this way. The Santander bikes, or what they sometimes call Boris bikes, aren't meant to be taken out for like a few hours at a time. They're meant to just be used for kind of shorter rides. So to rent any bike within the system, you'll pay £2 for 24 hours. So it's like a 24-hour access pass for £2. Now, every time that you take out a bike from a dock, that's gonna be a new ride. And then when you return it to a dock, that finishes that specific ride. You can do that as many times as you want in the 24-hour period. If you take out a bike and every time you take it out, you return it to another dock within 30 minutes, you will never pay anything more than the £2. So every ride under 30 minutes is gonna be completely free. If you take a bike out and you don't return to a dock until after 30 minutes, then you'll get charged £2 for every additional 30 minutes that you take the bike out. Sorry, I'm not sure how I should say this. MRLSNMZ. They asked, how much would it cost to have a lunch or dinner in an average pub or restaurant? It really just depends on where you go. Like you can go from really cheap to like really expensive. So it's really hard to say really. Also, I've read about gastropubs. How are they different from normal pubs? They just are a little more higher end and they have nicer food there. And if we decide on going for a Sunday roast, should we make a reservation? What time is good for it? You don't have to make a reservation if you have like a specific time and you can make it even a couple hours ahead. Just means that you won't have to worry about maybe getting to a place and not having any seating. You can have a roast for lunch or for dinner, so it's really up to you when you go. Jamie Taylor asked, what type of bag do you like to carry when you're out and about in London? It really varies. It just depends on whatever my mood is. I wouldn't say there's any particular type of bag that's the best to have in London, but I usually like to have something that I can grip fairly easily just so I like have my hand on it, and also something that clasps shut so that no one can, like if I'm in a crowd waiting for the tube or something, no one can like sneak their hand in and take anything out of my bag. Stephanie Murray 23 asks, what kind of coat is the most suitable for winter in London? Honestly, whatever keeps you warm. It doesn't get that cold here, but then sometimes it does, so I wouldn't go crazy. I have like just a plain black puffer jacket, and that's what I wear most of the time. Whatever's gonna keep you warm and comfortable is just fine. Kebble93 asked, which countries have safe hostels? I've heard some countries have seedy hostels, and do you have any personal experiences that you can share? In my experience, there's no specific country that has seedy hostels. There are seedy hostels all over the place in every single location. Generally speaking, if you go really cheap, then you're probably gonna be in a seedier hostel. If you can spend a little bit more, then you'll be in a nicer hostel that has better security, it's more clean, so on and so forth. When you're looking for a hostel, try Hostelworld and Hostelbookers and make sure that you look through the reviews of the place before you book anything. If I have some time to spare at Heathrow Airport, what should I do or buy and bring back as presents? So everyone's gonna be kind of going from different terminals, so it's not the easiest thing to answer. If you're in Terminal 2, the John Lewis there has the best stuff. You can go and get the Prestat Chocolates, which is delicious, but the cool story behind it is that the chocolate shop has 2 royal warrants, so the Queen loves their chocolates there, so I think that's a great gift to bring back. Terminal 5 has tons and tons of shops. There's even like a Harrods store there. And a lot of times I'll pick up, they have these like big boxes of shortbread cookies that are usually on sale, like 2 for £12 or something. And they have like a really cool London-y thing on the box. So that's something I get pretty often. You can get those, I think, in pretty much any terminal in like the duty-free area. JL Tom 08 asks, how dressy are you expected to be to get into restaurants in London in the winter? I want to be comfortable for a day of walking, but I also don't want to be underdressed. For example, will I be uncomfortable or worse, turned away from, say, a nice afternoon tea in leggings, boots, and a nice sweater? So it completely depends on the restaurant. There are restaurants that are super casual and you can wear whatever you want. You're never gonna get turned away, so don't stress out. The only way that you would is if it says like on the website of the restaurant that there's a dress code. But if you're gonna be walking around all day and then maybe going to a nicer afternoon tea and you really can't go home to change before you go, put something nice on and then just put layers over it to keep you warm, and try to pick shoes that are comfortable but are also a bit nicer. So sometimes I'll just like wear a flat pair of boots that I can kind of walk around in, or even sometimes you can get like nice trainers that kind of look like shoes also. Okay, that is it for round 1 of the questions for Q&A. And next week you will be able to see round 2. So if your question wasn't answered, you'll want to watch next week's video. And once it goes live, you'll be able to watch it by clicking here.